The movie opens with a girl standing outside, watching a house burn while the terrified screams of people trapped inside echo from within. Then we shift to Polly at an event, who tells Caitlin that the family she was nannying for had to relocate, so she lost her job, and financially, it's been rough. On top of that, she received an email from her landlord saying her rent is going up. Caitlin tells her she's glad she came because cases like Polly's are exactly why her firm hosts these events. Caitlin's phone buzzes with a text, and noticing that she's pregnant, Polly asks if she shouldn't be home drinking raspberry tea, to which Caitlin smiles and says she's managing. A few months later, Caitlin unexpectedly runs into Polly again and asks what happened with her landlord, to which Polly says she sent him a letter, but he replied with something about the law allowing rent increases. Caitlin tells her he's wrong, but Polly brushes it off and says she's managing. Caitlin then asks her what her plan is going forward, but Emma interrupts, saying she's hungry and asking if they can leave now. Polly tells Caitlin that if she ever needs a babysitter, even just for an afternoon, she's available. Later, Caitlin talks to her husband, Miguel, about Polly, and when he asks if Polly has experience with kids, Caitlin says she'll get a reference from her. Miguel reminds her that she said she wanted a break, and Caitlin replies that she can take it a little easier this time. Take care of herself, the way everyone is always telling her she should. Later, she calls Rosanna, telling her that Polly gave her number. She explains that they're considering hiring Polly as a nanny, and she just wanted to know about her experience with her. Rosanna says Polly was amazing. She really became part of their family. Caitlin asks how long Polly worked for them, and Rosanna replies that it was a couple of years, and that she's truly wonderful with kids. Caitlin eventually hires Polly, and before heading out, she tells her she's going to run some errands. Polly says they'll be fine, and Caitlin notices that Josie already seems quite happy with her. Later that evening, Polly tells Caitlin that Josie is asleep, so she's going to head home. Caitlin asks if she wants to stay for dinner, and Miguel also invites her to stay, so Polly agrees. One day, Emma gets upset, and Caitlin tries to calm her down, but tells her she cannot speak to her that way. Polly suggests she just give her a second. Caitlin confides in Polly, saying that Emma is smart but extremely strong-willed. She explains that even when Emma was a baby, if she put her down for even 1 second, she would start screaming. Just then, Polly's phone rings, and Caitlin says she can leave if she wants to. But Polly replies it's fine, saying it's just a girl she's been sort of talking to. Caitlin asks if she likes her, and Polly says she's not sure yet. Caitlin then shares that she was dating a woman when she met Miguel, and Polly says she figured as she could sense that vibe. Polly then compliments Caitlin's top, and Caitlin asks if she wants it, saying she thinks it would look good on her. Caitlin holds the top up against her to check the fit. She then apologizes if that felt weird, but Polly says she loves it. Caitlin goes to get a pair of scissors so she can cut the tag, and Polly notices antidepressant pills sitting on the table. Later, Miguel tries to get intimate with Caitlin, but she stops him, asking if they can try tonight instead, because she's not feeling up for it right now. She apologizes, saying she misses him too, but Josie has tired her out. Miguel says it's okay, and gets up to check his phone. Caitlin checks her phone as well, and tells him she has a meeting that afternoon. She asks if he can take Emma to basketball, but he says he can't, as he has a meeting with the builders. He then suggests that she ask Polly to take her instead. Later, Polly surprises Emma with cupcakes, but tells her not to tell her parents. Emma picks up a piece of cake and eats it happily, but then she notices Polly giving some to Josie too. Emma comments that it's way too much sugar, but Polly insists it's good for you. Emma asks if her mom used to let her have sugar, to which Polly says my mother made the best cupcakes, but before I got too old, she had to leave. Emma asks, but your dad could stay? And Polly replies, no. She explains that where she went to live, the only thing they had to eat was tuna fish. No mayonnaise, no lettuce, not even bread. She had to eat tuna straight from the can like a cat, and when that was gone, there was nothing left to eat. Later, while Caitlin and Miguel are talking in the kitchen, Emma comes over and quietly adds something into the stew, stirring it in without them noticing. She then tells Caitlin that she thinks it's burning, to which Caitlin tells them to get out of her kitchen, saying they are distracting her. That night, their friends come over to visit, where Stuart asks Polly where she lives, and she says she's in Boyle Heights. When he asks why she lives way out there, Polly says it's what she can afford. She then adds that she's thinking about moving, because LA is just so expensive. Caitlin asks if she means moving outside of LA, and Polly says she doesn't know how much longer she can stay here. That night, everyone in the house gets sick, and the children have to be admitted to the hospital. Caitlin confides in Polly, saying that no matter how hard she tries, she always ends up screwing everything up. Polly tells her she's wrong, and when Caitlin says, "You don't know me," Polly says she does. Then, realizing Caitlin is cold, Polly takes off her jacket and gently drapes it over her. Caitlin tells her she doesn't want her to leave, and Polly says she doesn't want to either, but she doesn't have a choice. The next day, Miguel asks Caitlin if she thinks having Polly around will help, and she says she does. He then tells her that after Emma was born, she seemed so confident, and he had no idea how much she was struggling until the day she tore the kitchen apart. He reminds her that she told him their lives were in danger, but Caitlin assures him she's okay now and isn't feeling that way anymore. The next day, they decide to have Polly move into their home, and when Caitlin asks her how it is, Polly says it's perfect. Later, Miguel and Caitlin leave the kids with Polly and go out somewhere, but the moment they're gone, Polly puts Josie down, as if she doesn't care about her at all. The poor child keeps crying, but Polly ignores her completely, and it's like her mind is somewhere else entirely. That night, Caitlin feels stiffness in her neck, and Polly tells her she knows a technique that might help. Caitlin agrees to try it, and Polly begins massaging her neck, warning her that it might hurt a little. But after a moment, Caitlin starts to feel relaxed and thanks her. She then says she should put Emma to bed and walks away. The next day, Caitlin is shocked to find a formula bottle in the trash, because she never gave Josie any formula. She confronts Polly, asking, "You didn't feed this to Josie, right?" And Polly replies that she's been having a hard time getting Josie to drink breast milk. Caitlin reminds her that they already agreed not to give her any sugar at all. And when Polly asks, "They did?" Caitlin says yes. Polly apologizes, saying she must have forgotten. But before Caitlin can continue, Emma suddenly interrupts, saying they were playing. Later, Caitlin finds Miguel talking with Polly and another woman, and Caitlin introduces the woman as her friend, Amelia. Miguel mentions that they got burgers and jokes that she's stealing some, and Amelia replies that she can see he's treating himself. She then says she's going to take a quick shower and walks away, while the others continue their conversation. That night, Caitlin can't sleep, so she comes out and sees Polly being intimate with Amelia in her room. Caitlin freezes, watching in shock, and when Polly looks up at her, Caitlin immediately backs away and leaves. The next day, Emma asks Polly what depressed means, and Polly tells her it means you're sad, and you don't like yourself. Emma asks if that's like her mom, and Polly says no. Caitlin is angry with her. When Emma asks why, Polly says it's because she knows a secret about her, and when you know someone's secret, you have power over them. Emma asks what the secret is, and Polly replies that her mom is pretending to be someone else. Meanwhile, Caitlin calls her doctor and explains that she's been having strange reactions to her medication lately. It is making her feel jittery. The doctor suggests taking half a pill for a week to see if that helps. But when Caitlin asks if she's really lowering the dose based on just one comment, the doctor tells her she can do whatever she's most comfortable with, and right at that moment, Caitlin accidentally cuts her finger. Later, Emma tells Caitlin that, like in movies when people get married or kiss or try to make a baby, she wants to be the husband. Caitlin asks if she wishes she were a man, and Emma says no, she just wants to be the one kissing the woman. Caitlin asks Polly if this is something they've talked about, and Polly says Emma just asked her about marriage and different types of couples. Caitlin says Emma has never mentioned anything like this before, but Emma insists she's saying it now. Caitlin says maybe she overheard Polly say something like that, but when Polly says it wasn't that, Caitlin tells her to stop talking for a second. Emma snaps, "I am not a baby anymore," and then she storms off, saying she hates her. Later, Caitlin asks Miguel if he doesn't think this is strange, and he says Emma is just getting older. He then asks how old she was when she started, but Caitlin says this isn't about her, and Emma is too young. She tells him he's not home enough to see what's been happening, saying Emma and Polly spend hours in the room, and they have no idea what they're talking about or doing. Miguel asks if she's saying she feels jealous, because Emma is giving all her attention to Polly, and Caitlin admits that it sounds bad. Miguel tries to calm her, saying it's not bad at all. He explains it's been just them for so long, and now there's a new person in the house, and it's weird, but he understands. Caitlin says that maybe a part of her just doesn't want Emma to grow up yet. She wants her to stay hers. Miguel jokingly says that sounds sick, and they both laugh. Then they start making out, and we see Caitlin doing it the same way she saw Polly doing with Amelia. Meanwhile, Polly is shown replacing Caitlin's antidepressant pills with different pills. A few days later, Caitlin notices Polly wearing the dress she gave her and tells her it looks nice on her. Polly thanks her and starts helping her in the kitchen, but only then do they hear loud noises, and Caitlin immediately runs toward Emma's room, telling her to get down. She asks Emma where she got them from, asking if she has any idea what could have happened, but Emma runs to Polly, and Polly apologizes, saying she bought them at the park. Caitlin angrily asks why she would do that, and Miguel says it was just an accident. Caitlin insists Polly did it on purpose, because she wanted something like this to happen. Polly says maybe she should go, and Caitlin tells her to leave the house. Emma admits it was her fault, and Miguel suggests that everyone take a break, but Caitlin asks if he wants her to throw Polly out herself, because she will. Later, Caitlin asks Miguel if he believes her that Polly did it on purpose, to which Miguel says he thinks it was just a mistake, and that Polly just wanted to have some fun. Caitlin replies, "Of course you'd think that." And when he asks why, she says that no matter what she tells him, he doesn't listen because he thinks she's a nutcase he needs to manage. Miguel says that's not true and tells her she's just struggling again. He says it's not her fault, but he can't help her if she's not willing to consider the possibility that she might be wrong. Caitlin says she doesn't know, to which Miguel tells her he needs her to at least try. And when she asks, "Or what?" he doesn't give her an answer. Later, Caitlin visits Polly at the motel and apologizes to her, saying she had some issues in the past and thought she had already dealt with them. Polly tells her she understands, and Caitlin says, but she has a handle on it now. Polly hugs her without saying anything, and a smile appears on her face. The next day, Stuart asks Caitlin what she actually knows about Polly, aside from what Polly has told her, and Caitlin replies that you can think something, but that doesn't make it real. Stuart says that whatever they find will probably just confirm that everything is normal, so why not just take a look anyway? Later, Polly finds Stuart in her room, and he says they have finally finished the renovations here, and that it looks good. She sarcastically says she's glad he approves, and he says he'll just leave. But Polly tells him that she knows this is their house, and he's their friend, but this room feels like her space, so she doesn't want people just coming in and out. Stuart retrieves some items from her trash and collects her DNA using a DNA kit. Meanwhile, Miguel asks Caitlin if there's any more breast milk, saying he checked the freezer and there's none left. He also asks what she's doing in there, and she tells him she just needs to finish something. She then asks him to take the baby for 5 minutes, and she'll be right there. Later, Caitlin meets Rosanna and tells her that Polly has been involved in dangerous incidents with her children. Rosanna tells her that Polly hasn't returned her calls for a while, and if she's using again, her behavior is probably erratic. Caitlin asks if she met her here, and she told her she was an addict. Rosanna says yes, and that I made a promise to help her however I could. Caitlin then asks if Polly ever worked for her, and Rosanna says she did. Caitlin accuses her of lying, and Rosanna explains that when she met Polly, she was living in her car and had a boyfriend who beat her so badly she had to be taken to the hospital. Caitlin asks, "And you just believed her?" Rosanna says she has a meeting and needs to go, but Caitlin stops her, saying she lied and put her children in danger, asking if she even cares about that. Caitlin then says, "What if nothing she told you was true?" And Rosanna is left without an answer. Meanwhile, Stuart leaves a message for Polly, asking her to call him back, and it's revealed that she is connected to the burning house from the beginning. Caitlin returns home and tells Miguel that Polly has been lying to them, saying the reference she gave she never even worked for. Miguel asks how she knows, and Caitlin says she chased the woman down and spoke to her. Miguel asks if the woman said Polly never worked for her, and Caitlin says, of course not, because she cornered her at an AA meeting, which is where they originally met, and the woman lied to her again. Miguel tries to calm her down, asking if that's what she was out doing when their baby is hungry. He says he's done for the night, and they can talk about it tomorrow. Polly visits Stuart, and he asks if she wants to come in. She asks if he can tell her what this is about first, and Stuart says he owes her an apology because he had her wrong, and if she's okay with it, he would like the chance to explain. Once inside, Stuart tells her he knows her real name, Rebecca. She asks if he went through her things, and he admits he did. He says he also knows she grew up in San Bernardino, like Caitlin, but her name back then wasn't Caitlin. Rebecca replies that her name was Jennifer, and Stuart says, I know that when you were 7, you lost your whole family in a fire. Rebecca says Caitlin killed her parents and her baby sister, and that nothing happened to Caitlin. They just changed her name and sent her away. Stuart says something happened to Rebecca before the fire, but she says that's not true. He then adds that, whatever the past, they should both agree that what she is doing to Caitlin and her family now is wrong. Rebecca asks if he told Caitlin, and he says he hasn't because he wanted to speak with her first. But if she won't, he will. Rebecca suddenly says she feels sick and asks to use the bathroom. She hurries off, and Stuart asks if he can get her anything. He says that if he were in her shoes, he might want the same thing, to see Caitlin suffer. But he would also hope someone would show sympathy and help end the cycle. At that moment, Rebecca appears from behind and strikes him with a baseball bat, knocking him down. She then quickly gathers the documents and stuffs them into her bag. And meanwhile, Stuart staggers back to consciousness and reaches for his phone to call 911. But Rebecca knocks it from his hand. She tells him, "You made me do this, and I hope you understand." She then hits him again and then strikes him repeatedly with the bat on his face until he loses consciousness. Later, Caitlin gets a call from Bethany, who tells her she's calling from the hospital and that Stuart is badly injured. As Caitlin rushes out, she tells Miguel that Stuart has been attacked and asks him to stay with the kids. And as she leaves, we see Rebecca standing outside. Caitlin arrives at the hospital, and the doctor tells her that Stuart is in critical condition. Just then, an officer approaches regarding the case, and when Caitlin says she needs to talk to him, he tells her he will connect her with the detective in charge. Caitlin tells him that Stuart believed a woman named Polly was lying to her and her family, and that he had been looking into her background. The officer and the doctor begin to walk away, and Caitlin insists she's trying to tell them what's really going on, but the doctor tells her to lower her voice. Later, when Caitlin returns home, she finds Rebecca already there. Miguel asks how Stuart is, and Caitlin tells him to ask her. She orders Rebecca to get out, and when Emma asks her to stop, Rebecca says Caitlin is just upset over her friend, but Caitlin yells for her to leave the house. When Rebecca still doesn't move, Caitlin says, "Fine," and heads toward her room. She starts throwing Rebecca's belongings into her bag, and Miguel tries to calm her down and stop her. But seeing Rebecca holding Emma, she storms outside, pushes Emma away, and tackles Rebecca to the ground. Caitlin accidentally hits Emma and stops realizing what she has done. Miguel rushes to Emma, only to find that her nose is bleeding, and Caitlin bursts into tears. 1 week later, Caitlin had moved out of the house, and her friend tells her that she did the right thing. But because of what happened, the judge might question the children's safety when they are in her care. Caitlin says the kids are not safe right now, especially with Polly still out there. Later, while taking her pills, she notices something isn't right with them. She picks up her phone and searches the pill imprint 34, and she is shocked to discover that it's actually an ADHD stimulant, not her antidepressant. The next day, she meets Emma and asks if you mad at me. She admits, "I am hard on you and watches you too closely because no one ever really watched out for me, but that isn't your fault." Emma tells her she found something in Polly's room and pulls out a paper from her bag. She shows it to Caitlin and says it has a different name on it, but it's Polly, and she's from the same place you are. She says, Polly is an orphan, and that's why she tries so hard to fit into their family. Emma then asks, "So you can come back home now?" But just then, the coach calls the players to the field, and Emma hugs her mother tightly. Caitlin then goes to her home and meets Rebecca, who is wearing her clothes and has styled her hair just like hers. Meanwhile, Miguel tries calling Caitlin, but her phone goes straight to voicemail. Caitlin tells Rebecca that she had dreamt about meeting her, but she thinks Rebecca must have dreamed about it even more. Rebecca replies yes, and Caitlin then apologizes for what she did. She explains that she told the school and her dad what her father was doing to her, but no one believed her. Rebecca says, because she was lying, but Caitlin insists he hurt her, and he wouldn't stop. Rebecca tells her that she pretends to be a good person, but she's not, and Caitlin says she doesn't know anything about her, because she never met her back then, to which Rebecca says, but she saw her that night. She tells Caitlin that she cried and complained about what happened to her, and everyone believed her, while she had to move through 7 different homes because of what Caitlin did. She asks, "Do you know how much pain you caused me?" Caitlin says, "But you know I wasn't lying because he did it to you too." She reveals that he told her how much they looked alike, that they could almost be sisters. Caitlin says she thought about Rebecca every single day and understands how that pain feels, and she is here now to listen to whatever Rebecca wants to say. Rebecca suddenly breaks a bottle and stabs her with it. saying what she truly wants is for her to rot in hell, while she sleeps in Caitlin's bed, sleeps with her husband, and raises her beautiful daughters. She then pulls the bottle out, causing Caitlin to collapse onto the floor, and as Caitlin tries to get up, Rebecca hits her with a pan, but before she can strike again, Caitlin lunges at her. Rebecca still manages to overpower her and tries to strangle her, but Caitlin grabs a jar and hits her with it, pushing her away, shattering the glass, and knocking her unconscious. After that, she takes Josie outside and puts her in the car, but before she can drive away, Rebecca smashes the windshield and yells at her to get out of the car. Caitlin quickly reverses, but the main gate hasn't fully opened yet. Rebecca climbs onto the bonnet and keeps smashing the windshield, and that's when Miguel and Emma see them. Caitlin reverses again, and the car gets hit by another vehicle, causing Rebecca to be thrown off and the car to come to stop. Caitlin looks back and sees that Josie is fine, and only then does Miguel come running over to check on them. He helps them out of the car and apologizes, saying he should have listened to her. Caitlin then goes to check on Rebecca, who is choking on her own blood, so she gently tilts her head to let the blood drain out of her mouth. And after a while, Rebecca dies. A few days later, Miguel reassures Caitlin that they are going to be okay. Meanwhile, Emma is telling a story to Josie, the same story Rebecca once told her about how she had to eat tuna from a can like a cat. Emma even imitates her while telling it, and the movie ends right there.